Welcome to lesson 4 of our economics unit. And it's all about getting the most bang for your buck. There's a joke on the internet right now that goes a little something like this: how to tell when you're an adult. When you put back the pack of chicken, that's $11.99. For the pack of chicken, that's only $11.59. Get it? You put down a pack of chicken to only save 40 cents. Well, why did you do that? Are you that kind of a boring adult that you would switch out a pack of chicken for 40 cents? Well, yes, because we want the most bang for our buck. When you start paying your own bills and earning your own money, you want to make your dollar stretch the best that you can, because you're the one earning that bank. You're the one paying those bills, and you want to make sure that it covers everything that you need. So, finding the best bargains, looking for those sales, and yes, every once in a while, clipping those coupons is exactly what you need to do. And in the business world, that's how businesses make money, is to make sure that they produce their goods and sell their services in such a way and do it cheaply and and sell them to consumers in order to have the biggest profit margins. That's how our economy works. So we're going to talk about how does the consumer and producer ratio work? How do consumers get the most bang for their buck? And how do producers produce their goods at a profit margin enough so that they can stay in business and make money for themselves in turn? So, we're going to talk a little bit about how consumers can be smart consumers and how producers make enough money for themselves and stay in business. So, I'm sorry to have to say this. We're probably going to end up doing a little math and social studies. Don't tell your math teacher. So, in the economy, we've already talked about this vocabulary word. A consumer is a person who purchases goods or services. And a smart consumer looks at multiple producers, and multiple producers are all saying one thing: buy from me. I have the best product. No, buy from me. I have the best product. Excuse me, I have the best product. And when there's so many choices out there, what's a consumer to do? Smart consumers comparison shop. So let's go back to that example we talked about, that internet joke about chicken. But let's start looking at it about price per pound. So I'm buying some chicken legs, and I'm looking at three different producers or three different companies of chicken. And most chicken is sold by the pound, or most meats are. So producer number one sells their chicken for $5.99 a pound. Producer number two sells their chicken for $5.89 a pound. And producer number three, it's probably that organic chicken, sells their chicken for $6.25 a pound. So if Mrs. James is looking to purchase 2 pounds of chicken for dinner, who is she going to purchase chicken from? Pause the video for just a moment and type your answer in your notes. Well, I certainly hope you said producer number two. Well, producers compete against each other for a customer's business. Why is this good for a consumer? Why is competition good? In the United States, we have a market economy. Think back to lesson number one of the different economies that we talked about. And in the United States, we have a market economy. This means that businesses try to sell goods and services to consumers, but consumers are the ones that have the power. We have a choice in purchasing what products and services we want and if we want them or need them and from whom. So this is based on trade and exchange. We basically trade money for the things that we want. So this is called voluntary exchange. Once we agree on a price, we will trade the money for the services. Um, and what's that agreement called? Price. So the price of a product includes how much it costs and how difficult it is to get that good. So the producers try to set their prices at the highest amount that a buyer is willing to pay. If the price is too high, a buyer won't, a the consumer won't buy. But if the price is too low, the business won't make money. Mustard is very easy to find, so its price stays low. So its price has to stay low, or people are just going to go to a different store to find it. But think about paintings. Paintings are one of a kind, very rare, and hard to find. So their prices are set high because they're considered priceless works of art. Because they're literally priceless works of art. So they try to set them as high as possible in order to maintain their value. So when a product is hard to find, it's called, it is scarce. And that and scarcity is what drives prices high. When a product is easy to find, there is a surplus, and surplus is what lowers prices. For example, we all know that summertime is one of the best times to find wonderful fresh fruits and veggies. I have an aunt that lives in Georgia, and I love getting fresh peaches from her. And Georgia peaches in the summer are so cheap and easy to find because that is their peak growing period. But in the winter, they're expensive because that's not their peak growing period. So that is why Georgia peaches are expensive in the winter, but cheap in the summer. So think about it. Scarcity drives prices up. So your supply is the total amount of the product that the producers are willing to make and sell at a certain price. So let's go back to our example. So here's another example. If there is a large supply of apples in the summer, what will happen to the price of apples? Pause the video, write down your answer. Demand. Demand is another thing that will help set the price of a product. The amount of product the consumers are willing and able to buy of a certain product. It will also set what they're able to pay at a certain price. Think about those toys at Christmas time. Yeah. But take a look at this picture here. This is a picture of from the Great Depression in the United States. This picture shows a high demand for what? Pause the video, write down your answer. Take some time, watch this video, and it is a wonderful example that explains further how supply and demand affects markets. It's a short video. Once you have once you click on it and watch the video, um, sorry, once you are done watching the video, come back and finish typing in your notes. Businesses try to make a profit when selling their products. Otherwise, the business will not profit. Will not profit. If the price of the product is too high, the demand for that product will go down. In other words, people are not going to be willing to pay for a product if they can't afford to buy it. However, if the price of their product is too low, the demand will go up and the company will not make a product. Plus, they might not be able to keep up with production demands. So, here's another real world example. February 14th is not my favorite holiday. February 15th, however, is one of my favorite days of the year because all the stores place their Valentine's Day products on sale, including all of their yummy Valentine's Day candy. So, explain why this happens using what you have just learned about surplus, supply, and demand. Remember, this response should be in complete sentences and it should be a very well thought out response. I'm looking for some good quality work here. Let's go back to competition and rivalry. Competition is a rivalry between two different companies. This keeps products lower for consumers. In other words, this is a good thing. When two companies are duking it out for supremacy in a market, the consumer wins. So take a look at this political cartoon. How does this political cartoon show an example of competition among producers? And based on this based on this cartoon, which store would you purchase from? Pause the video, type in your answer. All right, it's January, just after the big December toy push. In January, demand for this particular brand of robot is high. However, in February, the demand for the first product lowers because a cheaper one becomes available. Company A must lower its price to keep up with the competition. What is that going to do to Company A's profit margins? That's right, it's going to cut into their profit margins in order to keep up with the competition. If Company A doesn't consider cutting their profit, cutting the cost of their robots, they're quickly going to be driven out of business by Company B. So I want you to summarize your learning in 2 or 3 sentences per box. I need you to summarize your learning for each of these areas. And then you're done. Be prepared for a quiz later on in the week or later on the first part of next week as a check-in for your economics, for your economic unit. Have a good day, guys.